Hi, I'm Cameron with Langmuir Systems. In this video, we'll be covering how to properly tram your Z-axis slide. Tramming is the process of squaring your Z-axis slide to the bed slats below so that your plasma torch is perpendicular to the material when cutting. In order to do this, you'll need two tools. You'll need a square protractor and a 1/8 inch Allen key. Start by positioning your carriage assembly over the right frame rail to provide the easiest access for this adjustment. Next, turn the Z-axis lead screw motor coupler in order to manually adjust your slide downward until it is near the bottom of its travel. This will make it easier to notice any cant between the slide and square. Next, place the bottom of your square across the slats and position your slide so that your square rests inside the vertical slot in the Z-axis slide. Look for any space between the slide and square, as this will indicate misalignment. As you can clearly see, we have contact at the top, but a gap at the bottom. This means we will need to adjust the set screws in the rear to correct this angle. There are two set screws in the rear, but we'll be concentrating on just the right one to make our adjustments for now. Adjust the set screw inward, which is seated against the preloaded bearing. Once the slack is removed, you will notice additional tension as you adjust inward. You are now contacting the bearing and adjusting the angle. It is important to make small adjustments in order to prevent over-tightening. This can damage the bearing and create excessive load and friction between the bearing and gantry tube, which can hinder movement. After making an adjustment, recheck your square. This should be an iterative process. After our adjustment, you can see that there is no longer any space between the square and the slide. This means that we are now properly aligned. We will do the same thing to adjust the second bearing. As you adjust the set screw, use your finger to gently spin the bearing as you get close to contacting the gantry. This will allow you to stop the moment you know the bearing has contacted the gantry, as you will notice resistance. From this angle, you can see the location of the last two set screws that we will be adjusting. They will move these bearings upward into contact with the gantry tube. Carefully adjust the set screw inward, remembering to spin the bearing with your finger as you approach the gantry tube in order to prevent over-tightening and damage. Now do the same for the other side. In the event that you do over-tighten, you will need to break loose these two nuts, here and here, with a 7/16 box wrench on the front bolt and a socket for the nut in the rear. Back out the set screws and start over.